Hi. So as you can see here in initial contact, if we start at the ankle, we have the ankle at 0 degrees, so it's neutral. And we have the muscle active here is the tibialis anterior, and that's to keep that foot from flopping down. We wouldn't want that. And then the kinetics are, there's no ground reaction force in this instant.
Hi. You can see here, knee is at 0 to 5 degrees of extension. It is, the hamstrings are slightly activated, and there is a slight extension moment. Hi. If we look at the hip, we see the hip is at about 20 degrees of flexion. In this moment, there is a co-contraction between our rectus femoris, our glute med, and our adductor longus. And action.
Hi. Here we can see we have 5 degrees of plantar flexion of the reference limb. We have the muscle activation transitioning from the tibialis anterior into the gastroc soleus, and we also have a slight extension moment.
Ni hao. Hi. At this point, at the knee, we are in 20 degrees of flexion. The quads are activated, and there is a flexion moment. Hi. In our reference limb hip, we are still flexed in about 20 degrees of flexion, and there maintains a co-contraction between rectus femoris, glute med, and adductor longus.
Hi! So here we can see at the ankle, in mid-stance, we have the ankle at 0 degrees, so it's neutral. We have the muscle activation, again, transitioning from tibialis anterior to gastroc soleus. The majority of, or all of the body weight is on the little calf, so it's holding up the entire body, which is nice. And we have an increasing flexion moment.
Hi. See here, the knee is at 0 to 5 degrees of flexion. There's a slight co-contraction of the quads and the hamstrings, and there's a neutral moment. Hi. Our reference hip is slightly flexed, and the main muscle that will be turned on here is going to be that adductor longus. But because we're balanced over this foot, your hips aren't doing quite as much in this stage of your gait cycle.
Hi. So here in our reference limb ankle, we have the ankle dorsiflex at roughly 10 degrees. We have the gastroc soleus very active at the moment, and we also have this as our max peak moment.
Hi. In this phase, we are the same as the last. The knee is at 0 to 5 degrees of flexion. We have a slight co-contraction from the quads and the hamstrings, and there is a neutral moment. Hi. At this point in the gait cycle, the hip is now extended passively 20 degrees. During this moment, we also still have a co-contraction of rectus femoris, glute med, and adductor longus.
Hi. Here at the ankle, once more. We have our reference limb here. We're looking at 15 degrees of plantar flexion. We also have the gastroc soleus, again, working very hard to push off, and we have a flexion moment that is now starting to decrease.
Hi. In pre-swing at the hip, we are still in 10 degrees of hip extension. There's not much going on for muscle activity, but the rectus femoris and the iliopsoas are about to turn on to help us swing that leg forward through the next couple phases.
Hola, hi. Here at the ankle in our reference limb, we have between 15 and 0 degrees of plantar flexion. We also have the tibialis anterior engaged to make sure that we're not toe dropping or dragging that foot across the floor. And then we also have a slight flexion moment.
Hi. In the initial swing here, we're at the maximum flexion of 60 degrees. We have a slight activation of the biceps femoris and a flexion moment. At this stage in the hip, we're in about 20 degrees of hip flexion,
This is being caused by the rectus femoris and the iliopsoas muscles.
Hi! Here at the ankle, we have a neutral ankle position at 0 degrees. We also have the tibialis anterior still activated so the foot is not dropping, and we have a neutral moment.
Hi. Here at the knee, we have movement from 60 degrees of flexion towards 0. We have some activation of the hamstrings to decelerate the tibia, and we have a flexion moment.
Hi! So here you can see that the hip is at about 25 degrees of flexion. The rec fem and the adductor longus, are activated, and there is a flexion moment due to that.
Hi! So here at the ankle, once more, for the last time, we have the ankle neutral at 0 degrees. We also have the tibialis anterior, which is preventing that foot from flopping, and we have the neutral moment.
We're just tossing around with you.
Hi. So here at the knee, we are at full extension, so somewhere between -5 and 5 degrees. The hamstrings are activating to keep the knee from going into hyperextension, and we are at a slight extension moment.
Hi! So here we can see the hip is at about 20 degrees. We have a flexion moment coming from a co-contraction of glute med, adductor longus, rec fem.